अस्सलाम वालेकुम रहमतुल्लाहि वबरकातुहू। आई होप आप सब लोग खैर और आफियत से होंगे। आज मैं जिस पर रिएक्ट करने जा रही हूँ वो है FTD फैक्ट्स की एक वीडियो, जिसमें हम जानेंगे अबाउट दी 10 बेसिक बिलीफ्स ऑफ इस्लाम, जिसके ऊपर हमारी पूरी ज़िंदगी हम सारे मुस्लिम्स की पूरी ज़िंदगी मबनी है। तो उन सारे फैक्ट्स को जानेंगे। एंड यस, विदाउट एनी फर्दर डू, लेट्स गेट स्टार्टेड।
The Muslim faith has many aspects to it that it would take a whole lifetime to learn everything that there is inside of the faith. But what are some of the basic beliefs that Muslims, generally speaking, believe in? Hey guys, thanks for joining me on another episode of FTD Facts. My name is Leroy Kenton and I'm here highlighting 10 of the basic beliefs in Islam. But before I jump into everything, I have a question for you guys. What is something that you believe in? Like for me, for example, I believe that your mindset and the words that you use actually shapes your view of life. So I want to hear some of your beliefs down below. I'll be replying to some of them as well. Okay, so starting off at number 10, there's a belief in the prophets of God. Muslims believe in the prophets and messengers of God, starting from Adam, the first man that was created, as well as Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Moses, and Jesus. But Muslims believe that God's final message was a reconfirmation of an eternal message, and that was revealed through the Prophet Muhammad. Muslims believe that the Prophet Muhammad is the last prophet sent by God, and they believe that God said, Muhammad is not the father of any one of your men, but he is the messenger of God, the last of the prophets. And that's found in the Quran, Surah 33, verses 40. Muslims, on top of that, they believe that all of the prophets and messengers were created human beings who didn't have any divine qualities, just 100% human beings. The next belief is the Al-Qadar. Muslims believe in Al-Qadar, which is divine predestination, but this belief of divine predestination doesn't mean that human beings do not actually have free will. Rather, what Muslims believe is that God has given human beings free will and that human beings are the ones responsible for their choices. And now the belief in divine predestination includes the belief in four main things. One, that God knows everything and he knows what has happened in the past and what will happen in the future. Two, God has recorded every single thing that has happened and that will happen. And three, whatever God wills to happen is going to happen regardless of what anybody else wants to happen. And four, God is the creator of everything. The belief number 8 is the oneness of God. This is a central focus in the religion of Islam, that Muslims believe that God is the creator of all things and that God is all powerful and all knowing, and God has no offspring, no gender, no nationality, no physical body or anything like that. Muslims also stress that God isn't Jesus and Jesus is not God, so they vary from the Christian faith in that sense. Then there is a belief in God's revealed books. So Muslims believe that God revealed books to his messengers and prophets to prove to humans that God is actually guiding the affairs of humans. Of course, there's a Muslim holy book, the Quran, that Muslims believe were divine words that were revealed to the Prophet Muhammad. And there's also beliefs in the scriptures that were given to the Jews and the Christians as well. However, those were seen as being corrupted, and that the Quran reveals the final message, as well as fixes any sort of errors that may be found in those scriptures. There's also the belief in angels. Muslims believe that angels actually exist, they're real, and that these angels worship God alone, and they obey him, and they act only by his command. They believe that the angel Gabriel was the one who brought down the words of the Quran to the Prophet Muhammad from God. Belief number 5 is the Shahada, and the Shahada says there is no God but Allah, and Muhammad is his messenger. So when Muslims recite this, they actually declare that Allah is the only God and that Muhammad is his prophet. And now reciting the statement 3 times in front of a witness is all that it takes to become a Muslim, but you gotta recite it with sincerity. Then there's a belief in salat, and that is the mandatory prayers of Muslims, and these are to be performed 5 times every single day. There's Salat al-Fajr, that's the dawn prayer, that's before sunrise. Then there's Salat al-Zhr, which is the midday prayer. This is after the sun passes its highest point. And then Salat al-Asr, that's in the late afternoon. Then there's Salat al-Maghrib, that's after sunset. And Salat al-Isha, that's between sunset and midnight. Now, Muslims also must be clean before they pray, and they do this by performing a ritual washing called wudu. Zakat is the belief at number 3, and this is the compulsory giving of a certain portion of your wealth to charity. Now, zakat does not just refer to charitable giving that you just give based on your own kindness and generosity, but there's actually a system to follow for this. Usually the amount given is 2.5% of one's wealth each year. And the wealth includes income that you get from your job, income properties, businesses, etc. And the second belief is Saum. This is the fasting that Muslims do. Muslims are required to fast during the month of Ramadan. That's the 9th month of the Islamic calendar. During the month of Ramadan, all adult Muslims must give up certain things like food or drink, smoking, sexual activity, but they're not required to fast all day. They're just to fast from sunrise to sunset. But for the Muslims who are physically or mentally ill, they'll be excused at times from taking part in the fasting, as well as children and people who are very old and pregnant women, women that are menstruating, or women that are nursing. Now, if an adult does not fast for any of the reasons that I stated, they have to make sure that they make up their fast at a later date or make some sort of donation to the poor instead. The month of Ramadan ends with a festival called Eid al-Fitr, and this is where people usually dress up and visit the mosque for prayer, as well as have get-togethers with their families and celebrate with large meals. And the final belief is Hajj. So once a year, Muslims of all backgrounds, all types of ethnicities, social status, cultures, all of them from all around the world gather together in Mecca and go before the Kaaba to worship Allah. Normally when Hajj is performed, the pilgrims wear simple white clothing, and it occurs in the month of Dhul Hijjah, which is the 12th month of the Islamic lunar calendar. Hajj is a pilgrimage that every single Muslim who is an adult and in their right mind and physically able to do so, as well as can financially afford it, they are required to do this at least once in their lifetime. It serves as one of the 5 pillars of Islam. Alright guys, so that's all I have for you in this episode. This was a brief look into 10 basic beliefs in the Islamic faith. Let me know also some of your beliefs down below in the comment section. I'll be reading.
So this video makes me very happy because yes, Islam is really very true religion, and yes, this is very beautiful and a peaceful religion. So यहाँ मैं सबकी बात कर रही हूँ, हर जो भी बंदा जो भी रिलीजन फॉलो करता है उसकी अपने कोई ना कोई बिलीफ होते हैं. तो लाइक ही सेड इन द स्टार्टिंग ऑफ द वीडियो कि जो जैसे आप बिलीफ रखते हैं, जैसे आप अपना माइंडसेट रखते हैं, जैसे आप अपने वर्ड्स यूज़ करते हैं, वैसे ही आपकी लाइफ को एक शेप मिलने लग जाता है. तो सो एवरी इंडिविजुअल हैज़ सम काइंड ऑफ बिलीव्स, चाहे कोई एथीस्ट हो, चाहे कोई सा भी रिलीजन हो, हर किसी के अपने बिलीफ होता है. जैसे कि जैसे यहाँ पे एक माइंडसेट की बात हो रही है, तो माइंडसेट जैसे कि हम हर चीज़ के लिए गूगल पे जाते हैं, सर्च करते हैं, राइट. हमें हर चीज़ का क्वेश्चन गूगल से मिल जाता है, लेकिन कभी आपने सोचा है कि गूगल किसने क्रिएट किया है? वो मैन मेड है, किसी आदमी ने तो क्रिएट किया है. सो हमारे माइंडसेट से ज़्यादा पावरफुल क्या हो सकता है, या फिर हम जो वर्ड्स यूज़ करते हैं उससे ज़्यादा पावरफुल क्या हो सकता है? सो आपका माइंडसेट ही सब कुछ है. सेकेंडली, जैसा बिलीफ आप रखेंगे वैसी ही चीज़ें आपके साथ होती चली जाती हैं. सो यस, जैसा आप गुमान रखते हैं वैसे ही आपके साथ होता चला जाता है. एंड रियली वर्ड्स हैव अ पावर. डोंट यू थिंक इस्लाम गिव्स अस रियली अ वेरी बिग क्लैरिटी टू आवर लाइफ, टू आवर विजन. जैसे कि हमें इतना ज़्यादा सोचने की ज़रूरत नहीं है. देयर इज़ ओनली वन गॉड एंड यस दैट इज़ अल्लाह सुब्हानहू व तआला. एंड उनके मैसेंजर कौन है? हुजूर पाक सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम. एंड हमें प्योरीफाई होने के लिए हमें अपनी सलाह नमाज़ पढ़ने के लिए क्या ज़रूरी है? वज़ू. तो हर चीज़ को बहुत अच्छे से एक्सप्लेन किया गया है, बहुत ही ज़्यादा सेंसिबिलिटी के साथ. एंड लाइक चैरिटी के बारे में, जो सदक़ात के बारे में बोला है, तो चैरिटी हम क्यों देते हैं? ताकि जो हमारा माल है वो अल्लाह की राह में उसका जब हम खर्च करते हैं वो और प्योरीफाई हो जाए. तो हर चीज़ जो है ना बहुत ज़्यादा क्लैरिटी देती है हम इस्लाम में. सो दिस वीडियो इज़ अमेजिंग. जैसे कि वी ऑल नो दैट आदम अलैहिस्सलाम was the first human created by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and then उसके बाद हम सब उनकी औलाद में से हैं. तो जैसे 9 फैक्ट में आता है आपका ईमान. अगर ईमान ही ना हो तो इंसान पूरा तहस नहस होकर रह जाए. तो यस, जब इंसान बहुत ज़्यादा परेशान होता है, किसी बहुत ज़्यादा गुमराही में चला जाता है, तो उसको वहाँ से निकालने के लिए कौन सी चीज़ काम आती है? ईमान. तो ईमान ही वो वही चीज़ है जो इंसान को बहुत सारी चीज़ों से बचा के रखती है. तो ऑल ओवर This video is completely amazing. So yes, this was the video. I hope you will love this video. So मैं मिलती हूँ आपको next video में. अल्लाह हाफिज़.